There you go, Colette.
All right, hey everybody, it's Colette, Baron-Reid. You? No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh, is it? Oh, and Bizou. Bizou, are you going to come for the? Oh, you're a Leo, so once we get to you, we'll do your reading. Okay, so we are going to be doing 12 zodiac signs, and I'm not going to miss one. And we're going to start with Aries. And if you have your rising sign or your moon in Aries, you'll be reading this also. So you're going to get 9 cards out of this reading. Yesterday's reading was pretty much the energy for the entire week. Now we're going to find out what is important to you. If you are a double or a triple sign, you just basically read those signs and you just know that it's a little stronger energy for you. So what we do is we read first the sun sign, then your ascendant, then your moon, and there's time stamps on the video. Okay, excited. Aries, let's get going for Aries. Aries, you have some restrictions this week. It's good though. You're not meant to be all things to all people this week. There's a balancing act. That's for you, Mark. And we're getting ready for Oracle Palooza Virtual, so I know what my husband's going to be like this week for sure. So really, you have to remember to keep your focus narrow, Aries. Don't spread yourself too thin this week. It's going to be really important. You also get self-care. You can't do everything by yourself. Okay, that's for Aries. That was wide open balancing act and one ring circus. Okay, now let's take a look at Taurus, who's next. Okay, here we go. Taurus, let's do this. So Taurus is good. You've got your energy nice and grounded this week and very resilient. You have dry desert. The intention card is good as well too. So the one card that you look at go, well, but the dry desert is dry. But what that means is that you've proven to yourself that you can have resilience no matter what's going on in your life. And so this is a beautiful week for you to set your intentions, to really get clear about what it is that you want to co-create in the world, and to see yourself reflected in the world as well in the best way possible. I also look at this when Spirit of Place is there beside it, is that you're not going to get a lot out of what's already in your life, that really the juice is going to come to you from your intentions that you're focusing on. So it's like, making your commitments to projects that you do or experiences that you want to have, and again, it's not for the future, it's intending it in the now and really working on those things. So in other words, don't look to the past to feed you. What you have to do is start to ask yourself, who do I want to become? That's really the question. And that's some of the questions that we ask actually at Oracle Palooza Virtual. And let's now look at Gemini. So Gemini, solitude and protection, so that, and wide open and protection and movement. So what this says is don't be isolated this week. Typically, Gemini, you're going to need a break. Really important that you take a break, but don't be isolated in your break. And it's also really important that you hone in your energy, not to allow yourself to be too scattered, but you are going to need self-care this week. And it's important, you could be doing some traveling, etc. So that's really important too, that you do take your breaks when you travel, when and if you travel. Nice to know if we can travel at some point. I think we've been in the longest lockdown of the world, but we're slightly out of it now. I'd say slightly. Now, Cancers, here we go for Cancer. So Cancerians, you have coming to life, wishing well, and moonlight. So this is great. So Cancerians know that it's going to take time for the things that you want to get off the ground. They aren't baked yet. So coming to life doesn't say came to life, right? It's coming to life. So it's process. You know how there's a sculpture that tells the sculptor who they are from the block of stone, right? And they start to see the figure emerge. And that's similar to your life, Cancer. This week is about allowing yourself to see what is emerging from you as opposed to dictating what that is. The form will be different. So your wishes are going to come true this week, and you're going to trust your intuition that you're going to be able to recognize them, because remember I said before, the form is not what you expect. All right, so that's going to be interesting for Cancerians. I wonder what that is for me. Maybe I'm going to get a delivery. It's not going to be what I expect, because it was my birthday on the weekend. Okay, so now let's take a look at Leo. Leo's got some goblins this week. Why? Because you're not there yet. Okay, so beware of goblins. And this is more about not being where you want to be with things, and you get worried that, oh my gosh, it's not big enough, it's not fabulous enough, it's not juicy enough, it's not enough. And the not enough goblin is going blah, blah, blah in your ear. And really the truth is that don't look at the temporary thing in front of you as a method of dictating if you're okay or not. All right, so you've got to turn it over. Whatever you're expecting to happen this week, and if it doesn't happen, that's fine. So don't look at this as a failure week if what your expectations are don't meet you where you want them to, right? This is surrender them and allow the details of what is in front of you to emerge from you. Again, it's similar to what I said for a few other signs, and even last week too, the emergent concept. Like you might have an expectation that you're imposing upon things. Like, I'll be okay if this happens. You have to be okay whether this or that happens, period. Okay, so now let's take a look at Virgo. See. Okay, perfect. Also coming to life, similar to the Cancer, peaks of joy and protection, and gentle gardener. So feels like everybody wants to rush ahead this week, and we can't. So Virgo, you are not going to get where you want to go in the time frame you want to get to go where you want to go. You've got to just enjoy yourself right now. Recognize that things take time, and you need to be able to be a joyful person whether or not something is happening, right? Gentle gardener also represents the integrity of time. Right? So some things take time, and you have to allow them to have the time that they need to, I guess, to grow. So you can't push the river this week, Virgos. Take time. Okay. Now let's take a look at Libra. Libra's intention. Oh, that's great. So for Libra, all these three cards are in protection. You've got intention, into the unknown, and listening. So what this is about is to trust the form of your intentions. You can also change your mind this week, but nothing is going to be as it seems. Anything could happen, and probably will, and there's going to be some new developments that will help you change your mind as long as you're listening to your inner voice and not allowing the dictates of the outer world to tell you if you're okay or not. So I think this is really important, particularly Libras, for you to pay attention to the delays for you, and to actually get excited about, wow, if it's not that, maybe it's going to be this, right? You have to kind of look at things like that, like say, okay, I thought it was going to be X, but it could be Y, right? Instead of like, I said it was going to be X and it wasn't X, and I don't know what it means. And do you see what I mean? There's the attitude of curiosity that's missing. So now you have to apply curiosity, and you can turn that frown upside down. Okay, now let's take a look at Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, wishing well. Da, 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 wishing well. Oh, yeah. Okay. Enough of me. So, excellent week for Scorpios this week. You have the wish that you had sent out into the universe is coming to you in a form you completely don't expect, and it's quite shocking for you this week. So this is a wonderful week for you to, again, allow the emergent process of change, and to also allow yourself to change your mind about what you said you wanted, right? Say, I wanted this, but now I want that. And the thing that I said I wanted is actually coming to me in another form, and that's making me think again about the thing I want, or when I say I want. So this is about desires, and desires being met in the outer world in a form that you're not expecting. You will need some extra protection around that, because it's sort of like you're pretty vulnerable with this right now, going like, what is that? I don't get it. I don't know it. Oh, does it remind me of a time where I might have gotten hurt? So I want to be very clear about my boundaries as I am curious, and I start to discover these new aspects of myself and others in my life. So that is an interesting week for Scorpio. Now, this is Sagittarius. There we go. Can you still see Bizou? Mm-hmm. Are you sleeping? You wanted to come here. Okay, Sagittarius coming to life. Again, you know, the sculpting card, wide open and movement and protection. So it seems that that card has come up quite a bit, which is again reminding all of us about the process of discovery and how when we look at the lump of clay of our lives and how all of a sudden it tells us what it is, we don't tell it, it tells us. It emerges from what looks like to be inert material. And this indicates that there's really beautiful opportunities for the Sagittarius personality to discover more, right? So this is like, ooh, I wonder. It's a real beautiful week of wonder. Except we're not going too far too fast either. So I wonder these past few weeks has been about slowing down because yet again, here we go, movement appears to be blocked, which means you're not meant to be going anywhere too quickly either. Even though you've got a beautiful new way of seeing the world, you're still not going too far too fast right now. That's for the Sagittarius. Now let's take a look at Capricorn. Are you following along, Mark? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I haven't missed anybody, have I? Okay, so now let's take a look at Capricorn for the week. Okay, so Capricorn has an opportunity to make amends. Aw, you need a hug, Capricorn. So Capricorn is, you know, sometimes, you know, the idea that you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable can be scary. And especially when you're recognizing that you might have done something wrong and you need to reach the olive branch needs to be sent to somebody and you're like, oh my God, what if they treat me crappy? What if it's wrong? I don't want to be vulnerable. This is really a resistance to vulnerability. Now, I'm not saying every 12th person on the planet has to apologize to somebody, but this really is, heal the ouch and protection is about the beautiful opportunity that we all have to heal. And sometimes we see things that happen around us that, you know, that we either have a cause or some impact towards or like be part of, or even that we see things go on that we can't change in the outer world and it makes us feel bad. So what's really important is not to isolate with this and to do what you can to help smooth things over between you and others. I think it's really important. And to also recognize as well too that, you know, sometimes healing takes a long time, that especially around self-forgiveness. This is a really important piece for the Capricorn personality to also acknowledge and integrate this week. Now let's take a look at Aquarius. So Aquarius, do not try to rescue other people this week. You will fail. So here's what's interesting here for Aquarius. This is when it comes beside rescue, compass, and magic stream. So the first two cards in protection and the last one is upright. So if you are using the kind of a power dynamic where you are above someone else and you expect that they need you in some way, and therefore you are needed, therefore you have power, that is something to be careful about this week, because that will actually not serve you. So be very careful not to get drawn into rescuing other people and feeling good about yourself because you could, and really ask yourself, is this about them or is this about me? Do I feel good about myself when I've done something for somebody else? Or is this am I called to do this because it's my calling? There's a difference. So this is about asking us to get out of that self-centeredness. And Magic Stream says, don't worry about it. It's easy to shift out of because you're back in the flow after that. So just watch this bit of this could be a little bit of a bumpy road this week. And now let's look at Pisces. All right. Here's Pisces. Pisces is looking for encouragement from other people, and that's an obstacle for you. This is really asking us to see where we give our power away, or where you give your power away to others by looking for approval. Don't seek approval from other people at all this week, and you're going to be a whole lot happier. That will be an actual obstacle for you to get what you want. This is about cleaning house. Also, don't clean up anybody else's side of the street but your own. Okay, the broom is yours for your house only. So it's a really good week for you to inventory around the way in which you communicate with other people in terms of the idea of giving too much, right? So this is about you becoming an empty well and fixing other people's problems, etc. So I would be careful about that. And also, again, being disappointed that somebody that you care about didn't encourage you to do something that you really loved or wanted. And so we have to take into consideration that other people have obstacles this week. So the Pisces, you've got to remember that, it's not about you. Oftentimes when people don't pay attention to you, it's because they're stuck in their own little worlds, right? So it's important that you don't take this world personally this week, Pisces. Okay, that's it for this week. I hope to see you at Oraclepalooza Virtual. Yay! So awesome. All right, see you next time. Okay, if you like this video, well, give me a thumbs up. I love seeing those thumbs up. Say hi to my dog, Bizou. Give her a love note, if you will, in the comments. Yay! And subscribe to my channel. You know how to do that, and I will see you next time. And I hope to see you at Oraclepalooza Virtual. Take care. Bye.